So it's a piece called The Sailor and the Mermaid, Part 1. And I know of a sailor who yearned for the sea, for the waves he had crested when lonely and free through tempest and storm in earlier times. He'd stand on the shore, ingrained in the sand, gazed out over the waves mounting, higher than ever his strength could master, but not so far as his heart would rage. Gazing out long at the monstrous cold that housed his beauty, a mystery glimpsed in the swells of the ocean and dips of the waters beyond his shore. A mermaid, surely. Sunshine immersed and shimmering lovely, naked but silent, keeping her secrets. Safe in the harbour, at water's brim, away from the boom of the rolling surf and splintering waves, he followed the tide's advance, retreat, now bringing her closer, now racing away, the nearness of her receding, leaving sharp sand and shingle, rock pools of memory and care cut off. But then, cruel as a miracle, sweeping back to draw his feet from his shoes, to offer embraces if he would but swim. And I know of a sailor afraid of the sea, of leaving his wife and his children 3 to tempest and storm, but worked on his roof and painted his doors, told tales of his youth to no one, nor his soreness of heart. From the rule of the ocean, the mermaid would come to her lonely rock, a glistening gem in the break of the waves and heaves and the swell, to think of a man she'd glimpsed. Master of his boat, he'd known all of ropes, could tell how to steer, how to storm, had no fear of tempestuous weather, of cold and the currents and the stillness, neither of water and wind. She knew no dry land but this rock, this heel of earth, dwelt there inquiring as to the world of men, daring yet cautious and longing to walk at times on earth unsalted, unbattered by spray, on greensward and heather such as drowning men had spoken of, and to stand in the sun, in the light, unrefracted, in full view, not hiding, to be more than a glimpse of beauty. I know of a sailor in love with the sea, with the rising and falling, the raging ecstasy of tempest and storm, of turning to wind and bringing about and casting adrift, to be washed up and floating on ocean's bosom. He sent to his mermaid a siren song, longed to lure her to boat and his net, to keep her himself, and cursed himself for it. He tried to be silent, let the sea do the roaring, let her be the mermaid, safe in her waters, lonely and free as any can be in the grip of the ocean. Don't risk her, he thought, in nets or on hooks, such unpriceable beauty, her hair so wild, her eyes, her heart-pleasing smile, her heart. Let it not be hurt on me. Still the creeping current of his own heart tide wailed, Gods, let her love me. 2 worlds rolling, hills and waves. One stands forever, the other far longer, and neither might meet, except at the shore. And the sailor stood by his ship of wood, wondered whether he built it well and nimble enough to fare on the waves and ferry him over the roaring mill. Behind him in the lee played his children 3, blind to his yearning and the dangers of the sea. And their mother was with them, washing the salt from their clothing and hair, seeing her husband, perhaps, in his gazing, in the silence of his roar. For what was before him, yet hid by the wave, away on the leagues and a land beyond land, the mystery drawing him to draw her ashore. From a misting of sleep he awoke to find the moonlight glinting on spit, on the prow, on the forecastle before, and he at the helm, the storm in the sails of his tall ship masted, and far in his wake sat the lumbering shore, the churn of the breakers and surf now distant, while under his bow the rollers were sliced, breasting, cresting, high over, destined to fall to the trough and rise to the ridge, and the lady sought through tempest or storm, his sails open full to the breath of the heavens, to his own heart swells and a roaring tide. Playful she followed, in awe she amazed at the wood-crafted vessel that mastered the waves, that danced on the water, kissing it, cutting it, playing on currents, not knowing to sink. She swam in the wash, on the surf and the billow, as happy as sunlight, pure gold on the spray, and singing a free melody of the ocean to dance in the ear and the curls of his hair. Calm on the sea, 'neath the sun's softest breezes, he left the sails flapping, the wheel's gentle turn. He moved to the starboard to stare at the ocean, and met his love's smile as she rode on the depths. His grip offered surety, taken so gently, a kiss of clear water washed over his palm, a rill of sweet dewdrops caressing his fingers. She poured herself into the cup of his hand. Which way would they travel? He gazed at the ripples that ran through her eyes, through the depths of clear water and heaven-blown sighs. She gazed at the strata that chiseled his rock face, the grizzled age of a wind-ridden rage, and she lifted like water new warmed by the fires, from ocean to air and into his arms.